Hello and welcome. You tuned to The Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show, best hour of trackside television, presented by the TAB. Joined in studio, as always, by Paul Maoate and Stephen Hunt. Good morning, Paul. No such thing as a sure thing in the NRL last night.
Certainly not. The Panthers lost their perfect record with a resounding win to the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. So, yeah, if there's one thing that's consistent about the NRL, it's the inconsistency of the results.
You off to Night of Champions there at Cambridge tonight?
No, I think Steve is. I couldn't make it this week, but no.
No,
it'd be great up there, eh?
It'd be a big night, no doubt. What about last Saturday, Steve? We're at Riverton and Ellerslie. Some good racing.
Yeah, there was. A real shame about the bias at Royal Riverton. I think inside draws were crucial, and Rails and Run was the ideal sweet spot. I think Barrier 1 produced 5 winners and Barrier 2 produced 2 winners. So evened out a touch on Monday, but I think it goes back to that, well, what I do when I'm looking into possible track patterns on the day. Just go back 12 months ago to the corresponding meeting. You can quite often get a similar setup in how the track played. And we saw 12 months ago, Riverton Day 1 in particular played very much on speed. So maybe one lesson to learn going forward. But yeah, look, Ellerslie, some really good races. BP will touch on some crucial winners. I think Cannon Hill will push on to an Easter and possibly Atmospheric. That will be a real confidence boost for that individual. We speak about this individual quite often on the leg up about its antics out of the barriers, but managed to jump on par and got the result, albeit at 75 grade. But just wonder if they want to sneak into an Easter off the minimum.
Okay, interesting. Good win from Atmospheric in the last. Cost us a fair penny too, I can tell you. Let's head north and say good morning to Brendan Popplewell. Massive weekend of sport and racing, BP. Take your eyes off that golf and say hello to the viewers.
Good morning, team. Yes, you're right. There's a bit on this weekend, isn't there, when you add the Masters into the mix. But, Stephen's right. Very good racing that we saw out of Ellerslie, and a chance to use that form for next Saturday too, where we do have a feature meeting to look forward to. Of course, the Easter, the Starway, the Championship Stakes as well. So really good racing there from Ellerslie. And Cannon Hill produced a performance where they needed to get another run into the horse before heading to the Easter, back to 1,300 metres, was really strong. Masafe went a heck of a race too, finishing into second position. And I even thought through the undercard, there's a bit to like about how some horses won, and probably including our maiden of the week that's coming up shortly, lads.
Well, let's have a chat about it. BP, what have you found? I was pretty impressed with both the first and second horses in your maiden of the week. Yeah, look,
first of all, we've gone with the Utopic Warrior as the maiden of the week. When the race is sort of completed, initially I was going to go with Solid Gold because Solid Gold produced that performance from back in the field, went past a number of runners. It was really a flip of the coin. I guess I went for this race for a couple of reasons, and I do like the form that's likely to come out of this race. I mean, we all saw Deprive. It's flashed home into second position and has got very close. So it looks like the win's not too far away from that horse. Manolete went forward. There was a really good push for Manolete out of Tauranga last time out. Went from a heavy track to a better surface. Utopic Warrior, not too much longer he's going to be in the country. The likelihood that he could be going to Hong Kong, but he's won well. Latino, right out wide, hitting the line for Annabelle Johnson. And even Fortune Asia is another horse we can probably follow. In that little gap, yes, from third back to fourth and fifth. Just has the feeling that there's some winners in this race, hence why we've gone with the Utopic Warrior maiden for our maiden of the week.
Yeah, a lot of impressive stuff there, Steve.
Latino's the one for me. That's the one I'd be wanting to wrap up and take home. That individual was on debut. A lot of those horses had had at least one run over 1,200 metres by Redwood. You'd think whatever that horse did will benefit and go forward, and yeah, more distance will be its friend as well, Latino.
Okay, let's get into it. Ōtaki and Riccarton. We're going to start at Ōtaki. Let's talk weather and track conditions. Steve, at Ōtaki, I'm sure we've got some fantastic drone shots to show you.
Can't wait.
Yeah, look, we hadn't raced at Ōtaki for a good 6 to 7 weeks, so it's had a bit of a freshen up the track, which I think will play suitable for how it presents on Saturday. Currently a soft 7. Well, 7 was a soft 8 on Thursday morning. Some really good weather between now and the back end of Saturday, and mid-20s in terms of temperatures. So, look, I'd be surprised if we didn't touch soft 5 at some stage through race day. And the rail's back in the true position, which it was last time they had a meeting there. And off that score, the track played fairly even. So, yes, it really does set up for a good day's racing.
Okay, there's some excellent fields there at Ōtaki. We can start in race number 5. That is the City of Napier Sprint. Steve, listed event over the 1,200 metres.
Yeah, look, Kitty Flash, who went up second favourite, $5.50. Wow, bang, $2.80. And a lot of that firm was achieved in the first 12 hours of trading, so it's been dangling at $2.80 for a good 24 hours now for Kitty Flash. In front of Platinum Attack at $5, Poetic Champion at $6, so they're the 3 horses at single figures. Double figures around Navigator, has to lump the big weight. Miss Jones at $13, with Force of Nature, Bedtime Story, Wide Gate at $13, Slipper Island, very compressed in this middle market. Hankey Alpha at $15, and TriStar, the stablemate of Hankey at $18, has been spec. So, look, overall, you've just got to go to Kitty Flash and respect that market move, 5.50 into 2.8.
Well, let's have a look at our new favourite BP. Last time we saw her was in the J-Swap Sprint. She's had a couple of trials in preparation for this, but gee, this form looks strong.
Yeah, doesn't it? If you've got a horse who wins this race, who then comes out and wins 2 Group 1s, and that, of course, being first 5, you have Tuxedo, who's out wide, running second, wins an Aotearoa Classic and runs a Group 1 placing behind Legato. It's form that it's pretty hard to ignore, isn't it, from her. She had a very good prep. She started in November. She was able to win first up and then get to that point where she was stakes placed there in the J-Swap. I look at her first up performance, and it was 280 days between runs where she was able to win out of Tauranga. This time around, she's 119 days. Maybe that forgiveness in the ground is going to be really her friend. And look, she raced through that preparation where she was on the good 4s through to around a 6. The track's a 7. They've had that rain, so there's going to be the moisture in the ground for her that she should really appreciate. Do like her. I think the setup looks nice for her.
Yeah, it really does, and that market move is significant. Slipper Island was a bit unlucky in that race, Paul, I thought.
Very, very unlucky. I think at around the 200 metre mark, he was almost adjacent to the eventual race winner, First 5. First 5 found clear air, whoosh, gone. Slipper Island, just the door closed, and probably would have been easier finding a gap through the Strait of Hormuz, to be fair. Just had nowhere to go whatsoever. So, and I think we're going to have a look at the Lightning at Trentham now.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Lightning handicap and relive my bet of the day saluting here. Platinum Attack running first and some other horses in behind.
Yeah, well done, Thad. Yeah, Platinum Attack and Lisa Ladder, just a superb training performance here, getting Platinum Attack up. Bruno had him situated perfectly, and when they hit the straight was just too good for these guys. Navigator, I thought, was finishing off very, very nicely here. And I don't understand. I'm having a look at the odds right now. Navigator is 758 to 11 on Saturday. Just, I guess, with the big move on Kitty Flash, 550 into 280, someone had to go out. But I just don't understand why Navigator, although does have a widest draw, I'm sure he'll be there or thereabouts off of that run there. And of course, Slipper Island again finishing off strongly into 3rd place. So, Platinum Attack. Look, that sort of performance will get him in the money, but he's got the visitors to draw, hasn't he, out at 18. This will be very, very tough.
He does love Trentham too. We're not there tomorrow. Geez, an interesting run of this next one, Steve, for me. Force of Nature. Got a winner's record. Here's the Topol trial to fit it for this first up assignment.
Yeah, what you probably don't see, or you don't see, obviously, in the first 200 to 300 metres, he got back and wide, and Craig Grills opted to push forward in a trial over 1,100 metres at Taupo, and he led from there on in and controlled and won the trial, beating Beast of Burden and captured by Love out of the Te Akau barn. You can see they're running into 3rd, so some useful sorts in behind. Look, he is first up, but you go back to when he was first up earlier this season, when he was 91 days fresh, compared to what he finds himself on Saturday, 119 days fresh. Look, he won at Pukekohe over 1,200 metres. That day he bet Jaffe and First 5 at listed level. So a similar setup here, and he bet some useful sorts, as I've mentioned. So, look, I think he's got the capability of winning. The concern is where he lies in the map. He's drawn an outside gate for Alan Nicholas. It will need a decent steer, so that's probably the one red flag if you're diving into his odds, Force of Nature. But as you say, he's got a fantastic record, lightly raced, and he happens to go really well at left-handed, in particular at Te Rapa, even though we're at Ōtaki on the weekend.
Okay, very interesting runner for me, Force of Nature. Speaking of sticky barrier draws for the Platinum Attack, let's have a look at Bedtime Story, who draws 19 with the emergencies BP, but here she was carrying a big weight to win an open handicap at Whanganui.
Yeah, they were spread across the track, and she dropped 6.5 kilos for her next start tomorrow in the City of Napier Sprint. She gets ground that she'll appreciate. She's unbeaten here at the venue. There's a couple of nice reasons around her going a big race. She also operates second up, so if you're looking for one that almost ticks all the boxes, it's probably her. If she can get the right run, and look, this is a big field. There's a lot of emergencies here in this field, so they'll be hoping, they'll be able to work their way in. But she's probably one that you need to look at if you're playing the multiple game, if you're looking to add in some extras for a quaddie. I'm around Kitty Flash. I just think her form is very strong for this race, and looks to be ready off the back of her 2 trials for a first up assignment. I am looking at one on the ballot. I'm not too sure if there's a couple more scratchings in amongst this field, but if TriStar got into the field, would really appreciate these type of conditions. I feel like TriStar's one of those horses through these autumn months. Once that horse strikes the right track condition with a bit of forgiveness in it, it might be a horse to include. So I'll throw it into a same race multi. If that horse doesn't make the field, to be honest with you, I'd probably look at Bedtime Story as one of those horses to throw into a top 4 line for the same race multi.
Did you snaffle some 550 BP, Kitty Flash?
I was a little bit slow actually on the uptake there, so I'm disappointed in myself. I was actually driving back from Hawke's Bay, and I knew the odds were coming out, but yeah, I missed the boat. You do something else, and you snooze, you lose.
Can happen. Into 280 will certainly encourage you around your bet in the race. Steve, what is it for you here in the sprint?
Just on Kitty Flash, BP, I know you've elected as your top bet. Do you have a slight concern of where she lies in the map? The fact that all her 3 wins from her 11 starts, she's led. Does she get that position? Or if not, obviously we have to see her do something that she has yet to do, and that's come off speed and win.
Yeah, I think she lands there, doesn't she? I mean, she looks like a horse that'll either be leading or outside leader, so pretty comfortable with that. Yeah, and I just feel as though the track condition is going to be suitable for her than most. She sits in a great place at the weights, so yeah, I think she'll be in a favourable enough position if she's not up against the rail, at least outside leader.
For you, Steve, you'll bet in the race?
Yeah, look, I agree. The only difference is that there's Poetic Champion shoes. I'm a Brazen One. They're Idyllic, who loves to lead at Ōtaki. I just don't know if it gets in the first 2 and running, but you've got to respect the market move. I'm going to land with Platinum Attack. Even though he's drawn wide, I think with this track coming back, that's crucial. I'm banking at the back end of the program that it comes back to a soft 5, and I think that's good enough for Platinum Attack. And we speak about the speed over the 1,200 metres, that should suit him. And if the track's playing even, which I'm hoping it does, he should get an opportunity to come down the crown of the track. We know he's probably in the top 2 in this race in terms of class, and that was proven last start with him and Navigator. He is going up a little bit of weight on the back of that win, but happened to go with the class here in Platinum Attack.
Paulie, it's competitive, isn't it?
Really is. And that action at the top of the market really does have me sort of trying to second guess. But I'm going with Force of Nature. I think, as Steve said, there's a bit of speed in this race, and I think there could be a bit of the charge of the Light Brigade early on, which means hopefully Force of Nature can just come across, settle midfield somewhere, let them go nuts up front, and then just have a good go at them down that Ōtaki straight. So Force of Nature, I thought, at the price, at around $13, was certainly worth a bet.
We've got an odd surge?
We got an odd surge on every single race at Ōtaki. We'll save that for the end of the
we won't
program.
mention that, though, will we? Yeah, no, okay.
No, but you're right, we do have an odd surge.
What's Kitty Flash for BP, if you can still get it?
You can get $3.10 BP, so not the $5.50, unfortunately. That was snapped up by the early birds.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just hoping you'll tell me very shortly that it's the odds, the leg up boost or something like that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned, BP. Yeah, keep those fingers crossed. Okay, a competitive edition of the race, but if you're following the market move, you'd be with Kitty Flash in the City of Napier Sprint.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line.
Here we go, BP Lance O'Sullivan Award time. Plenty to choose from as always. There were some great rides over the weekend, but who's got the nod?
Going with Craig Grills, it was a special ride aboard Atmospheric in the last race. Let's pick it up because the horse is here in last position on the inside, and Craig elects to try and ride for some luck, weave the path, and weave the path he was able to do. They were spread right across the track, and it just opened up the chances for Atmospheric to do his thing. He's a good horse, Atmospheric. I really feel like he's capable of reaching good heights, and I know Cody's always constantly spoken about that with this horse. You go back 12 months ago, he was running in a championship stakes. He was not too far off the latter 3-year-olds, and there's an opportunity for him. As Stephen said, maybe they look towards an Easter with him. He has been a heartbreaker at times because he has been slow out of the barriers, but things were able to work to a pretty good plan there on the weekend. So Craig Grills, he does receive the Lance O'Sullivan Award there with a nice ride aboard Atmospheric.
Always pleased to see Craig Grills get the Lance O'Sullivan Award. He's flying at the moment, isn't he?
He's in more ways than one,
Excuse
yes.
the pun, yeah. You see what I did there?
I like what you did there,
thank
Thad. Yeah, masterful display.
Yeah, very good. Well done to Craig picking up the Lance O'Sullivan Award for this week. Okay, second race we want to have a look at, one dear to BP's heart. It's the NZ Potty. Oh, no, sorry, New Zealand Punter of the Year at Hawke's Bay Spring Carnival, Hawke's Bay Cup, Steve.
Headed by Savoir Faire, who since arriving from Australia has had a real nice purple patch of form. Look, he's opened at 460, just out of turn to 4.8 in front of Freddie Time at $7. Shares that second quote with Pacifico. A Cinnamon at $7.50. Pro Boy 21 into $9.50, thank you very much. Apawa Jack, currently the biggest liability as it stands on Friday morning, $11 at trading. He's a shocker, $11. Procol Boy, there's another significant firm, 23 into 11. And Platinum Goddess, the best of the rest, again at $11 quote.
Okay, let's start with a favourite, BP Savoir Faire, going for 3 in a row. That man, Craig Grills, aboard, fresh off his LAO award. And this is at Pukekohe last time out. Cinnamon runs third.
Yeah, great form reference this too, with the horse who runs second, comes out and wins very stylishly in Slovakia as well. He's come back in terrific form from Australia, this horse. He was just looking for the right room here, and Hassman was able to produce and finish off strongly. As I said, since he's come back, and even through those runs where he's finished into 5th position, he was... And landed, yes, that's right, Bruce. Yeah, very good performance from Savoir Faire at his last couple. So it looks like a nice stepping stone, and he just keeps getting better this campaign.
Yeah, he does. And as you say, that Slovakia form well and truly franks it after what we saw from last Saturday, because that was a comfy and cosy win for that horse. What about the Awapuni Gold Cup? Paul, because they've sort of pumped for the northern form here, the odd setters, but boy, there's some good stars amongst this. Power Jack, Freddie Time, Crouch.
Indeed, yes, and Power Jack was 4 wide as they hit the first turn out of the home straight, which we won't see here, then settled 3 wide with a bit of cover and kept giving down the straight. Just could not pick up the winner, unfortunately, but really did stick on very, very nicely. Crouch was fair dinkum, flying home, recording the fastest last 400 and 200 metre sectionals. And Freddie Time stuck on well for 4th and has a liking for Ōtaki and won't mind the sting out of the track if indeed, by the time we get to race start, the track is still slightly off, although with the forecast, we should see an improvement, I would say, by the time we get to Saturday.
Okay, they're going to be competitive, I've no doubt about that. What about this horse, Steve? They got the chocolates last time out at Tauranga Pacifico. I think tipped by One Paul Maoate or Stephen Hunt, both of you might have been each way. Pacifico here, over the mile, steps up in distance.
Just had the right setup here, had a couple of runs leading into the mile, got the conditions to suit a heavy 10 at Te Araha, and did beat the stablemate who was leading into the race as unbeaten in El Suri. So did beat a good sort, but as I say, had conditions to suit. Completely different setup on the weekend. Left-handed, which is a slight concern. Stepping up to 2-2 off the back of a 1,600 metre race, which not always likeable. But saying that, it was on a rain-affected going, so could get away with it with the first time over ground this preparation. But again, a better surface is a knock. A horse that all its best ratings have been on that heavy 8 or worse, Pacifico. So at a $7, I thought it was gross unders. I would have thought this horse deserves to be mid-teens at least, Pacifico, so happy to take a set against that individual.
Okay, that's interesting, and as you say, the improving track will be against. Now, I want to come back to you, BP, for this next race replay, because you were on track this day, and He's a Shocker was legless in betting, but produced this.
Yeah, which was surprising, really, because I actually gave him a chance heading into this race, even with the weight of 60 kgs, just because of his class. He has shown, you know, a good bit of talent to the ultimate level across Australia. And it just gave us a nice little insight to where he could be. And I think the track will be, an improving track will be ideal for him as well. So yes, it's on the quick backup from that run there carrying the 60 kilos, but I think we saw enough there with him dead heading with Rusty Lane, who was actually pretty good as well, actually, finishing late and is a competitor on the weekend. So drops a couple of kilos for this. Should be in a better spot after those 2 runs. He's probably one that I'm entertaining with this track getting better into my mix for some bets. So now, overall, I've gone with Crouch. I just thought Crouch was a touch of overs with what we've seen from the horse. Great placing in the Wellington Cup, which was on good ground. Has good form here out of Ōtaki, so happy to roll the dice on that horse each way. And if I was looking at a same race multi, I've thrown Pacifico in there, probably thinking that the track was still going to be in that heavy nature. If I was looking for one other, I would definitely be putting He's a Shocker somewhere in there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, look, I'll go with the fave and Savoir Faire. I thought it was pretty soft win last start at Aussie, considering he was held up for a good portion of the straight, and the form's been frank/upgraded with the second horse coming out and winning in super fashion at Ellerslie last weekend. So, look, it might be a little bit of a concern around the draw and where he lies in the map, but look, I think he's got a bit of a class edge on a lot of his rivals here, and he comes in with this with winning form, winning his last 2 starts on off tracks and a better surface last start at Ellerslie. So he's a safe bet this far out with the slight unknown around the pentometer reading on the weekend, so happy to land with Savoir Faire.
Yeah, I'm not the best at it either. I'm trying to avoid it as best I can.
The fave.
That's not your the fave, yeah. That's not your money that's knocked in Pro Cool Boy, is it? 23 into 11.
I'm really interested to see what's going on here, Steve, because I see there's been a bit of a move on a number of runners who are down the page. Pro Boy, 21 into 950. Pro Cool Boy, 23 into $11. Who else? He's a Battler, 35 into 13. So there's been a bit of a go.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Punters who are looking at the conditions improving or maybe not improving?
Just on Pro Cool Boy, I was really keen to back him next start. He was one of the flashing lights. There was many horses that were disadvantaged at Trentham a couple of weeks ago, but he was super. He got back and wide and ran home some really good sectionals comparable to the horses that won that particular event. But I reckon they've pulled the wrong rein here. He was 1,400 metres at Trentham. He's going straight up to 2-2. There was a rating 75 mile the last race on the day, which he was nominated for, and I thought, oh, yeah, right, this is an opportunity to get stuck in. But they've opted to go for the Cup, the 2-2. That'd be my only reservation. Look, he's probably too skinny now, 23 now into $11. But look, I think he's capable, and he will get to a staying trip. I'm just not sure the setup's ideal, 14-2-2, where there was a 75 mile on the same day, which would have suited.
Well, I'm going with Gail and the team, and I believe that they'll know what's best for Pro Cool Boy. So, yeah, although the $23 is gone, this may be, and I don't know if Steve's got this as a But I would say maybe wait until we get closer to start time. I think we might see Procol Boy start to drift out again as we start to see a wee bit more money for those at the top of the market, the one likes of Savoir Faire and Freddie Time.
Great addition to the Hawke's Bay Cup, isn't it? And look, Paul Maoate says yes, Procol Boy. Stephen Hunt says nah.
Nah, it was good.
Yeah, nah, for another week. We want to know what we should be backing right now as we're watching our screens and what we should be waiting for tomorrow once these markets settle down. Steve.
I originally had Incandescent, the 2-year-old races a year, but it has been scratched if you're watching the show live on a Friday morning. So it just leaves the one in race 6, the reigning 65-mile Kapashi, who resumed 2 weeks ago at Trentham again as one of these horses that got back in the rut, came to the crown of the track. Got held up also at a vital stage, but was doing all its best work late and through the line in terms against the bias. So at $10, stepping up to the mile, a 1,400 metre first up run. I thought that was overs and a couple of nars. Race 5, the City of Napier Sprint. Poetic Champion, just a lot of speed in that race. Look, he can win. We know his capability. A lot of people will be hooking into the fact that he goes best fresh and now he's third up. At $6, I thought he could drift, but can still win. And again, race 6, the reigning 65-mile, Harkonnen. Wide gate, top weight, even with the claim, $3.80. I thought that was unders. Will drift if you like that individual.
Okay, couple to note down. Paul would have noted down the nars, I'm sure, in his black book. Time for the burning question this week. I wanted to go to the Queen Elizabeth at Ramwick and have a chat about Autumn Glow. I'll come to you first, BP. $1.45 for the unbeaten mare. Are we stepping in and putting it in every multi we have over the weekend, or what's your feeling on the $1.45 around Autumn Glow?
Well, it's pretty hard to say no when she's won 11 from 11, isn't it? And she looks like the next best thing across Australasia and even further. So, look, $1.45. I'm sure that'll be running through a number of multis, and why would you not want to with how she's won? Yes, there's the question mark of more distance and up against some rock hard weight for age horses, but I think you just trust what Waller and McDonald are doing and take the $1.45. I'd actually be even looking at taking a little bit of Autumn Glow and Aliana top 3, even pushing it that way, trying to even get some more juice.
I'm pleased he's
You knew he was going to throw a same race multi in there, didn't you?
I'm pleased he's done that. That's true to form. Where do you sit with the $1.45? There's often, about favourite long shot bias and those sort of things, Steve. It's probably not a bad price. How many times does she win this race out of 100, I guess?
Yeah, probably, 7 or 8 occasions, so out of 10. But, look, she's by the Autumn Sun. Look, on pedigree and a lot of that focus, if you're a pedigree guru, goes on the sire rather than the dam in terms of a distance range. So, look, if they go moderate tempo or even tempo to the 600 and she's able to run 34 for the last 600 or even 33 and change, it's game over. She wins. But, the likes of Dubai Honour and also Aliana, the stablemate, they're dropping back from 2.4 to 2,000. So I think between those two, they'll be wanting at some stage to be making it a truly run 2,000 metre race. Rather, does Dubai Honour make a mid-race move to make that possible? Well, it's all going to come down to tactics, but I think the only way she gets beat if they go at a fast run 2,000 overall, but even then she might be still too good.
Yeah, you'll be going something rough.
She's bloody good, isn't she?
Yeah.
And then you probably want to throw in Kayang Zahara and the TAB Trot, don't you? $1.05.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Hey, look, sometimes, and the thing to remember here is there's often value in these short price favourites because they obviously get underbagged because of the marketplace. And if you think Autumn Glow's going to win 7 or 8 times out of 10, well, then the $1.45 is a good price. Let's not forget about Hope wins as well. Our favourite in an Australasian Oaks there. That is race number 5 on the card. Currently paying $2.50. Good luck to the team around Hope wins the O'Sullivan. Scott Barnwell, now, and Chris Waller, obviously, now as well. Okay. Let's head to Riccarton. Let's talk weather and track conditions for our second meeting down there, and it's an excellent betting card they've assembled. Yeah, so they've got a very busy time between now and the mid part of May. They've had a couple of meetings leading into this particular card on Saturday, and the rail's been out significantly, 8 metres to the 1,000 and 10 metres to the winning post. So it's back in the true positions. There's going to be some fresh grass between the rail and possibly 8 to 10 metres out. So, I don't think it's going to be no knock if you want to land on speed and close to the rail. But soft 5, weather looks A-OK. So, look, I think it will play
around that in terms of a pentrometer reading.
Okay, let's start with race number 6 on the card is the NZB Insurance Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies. I've been loving this 3-year-old racing down south. It's been a lot of fun. Talk us through this market, Steve.
Yeah, look, a lot of these horses have been contesting or clashing against each other over different distances. We hit the mile here with Paolino, 310 out to 320. Miss Starlight, 16 into $8.50 for a horse that I thought was very vulnerable at 1,600 metres. Bonaforza at $9, Miss Ziggy at $9.50. She has that quote with Ducks. In the middle market, you've got Cashler Bay, who was an impressive first up winner at $13, and Hello Haley. I think a few of the boys on the form was very keen on Hello Haley at $14 back out to the mile.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 1,200 last time out, didn't fire from a wide gate back to the mile, but I want to start with the favourite BP, and boy, oh boy, she's been winning well. Here's her last start win in 65 grade at Riccarton, and that is Paolino.
It was a terrific win. Opie tricks down as well to take the ride aboard her, and just seems to be building nicely, doesn't she? She looks ready now for at a shot at stakes level at the 1,600 metres as we saw here last time out. So she makes a bit of sense. She's drawn well. She should get every favour in the race. Boy, it's a strong field though, as we've just sort of spoken through the odds there with what we've got to look forward to here with Hello Haley, who's on the quick backup, of course, from the Gore Guineas defeat over 1,200 metres and what we saw through, the Southern Guineas and the Dunedin Guineas as well. Miss Ziggy, a good performer also. Bonaforza, the effort at stakes level and Group 1 level as well from Bonaforza. And I actually thought Miss Starlight was potentially a bet because of what we saw from last start to the races, backing up on a day where we heard Stephen suggesting about how good it was to be up against the rail. Well, she was one horse who was coming off the rail and back and running and finished on into 3rd position. So maybe there's hence why we've seen such a big movement in her price.
Okay, into 850. It was a massive move last week for her as well, and the quick backup may well suit Miss Starlight. I want to go to the 3-year-old event from Riccarton last time when we saw Cashler Bay resuming here. I'm going to say a bit of a forgotten filly almost, Paul, but this was impressive. And Miss Ziggy running on from the back, and Eternal Light, a market mover on a number of occasions as well.
Yeah, very much. And Steve was just talking about tactics a little earlier ago. I'll tell you what, this was a brilliantly run race by Leah Hemi on the winner, Cashler Bay. Look, went forward, controlled the tempo, and then quickened when needed to, and they just couldn't catch her in the end. So I'm glad to see her in the market here. What, she's around $13, something like that. She's definitely going again. But Ziggy was starting to really unwind down the outside. She looks like a wee bit of a bet as well, that 4th place. A wee bit closer this time. She's in it as well. And as you say, Miss Starlight, 16's into 850. And Bonaforza, 9, touch 7, back out to 9. So there's been a bit of a movement in this thing. And as you say, Hello Haley, who the 1,200, probably just a wee bit too sharp last time, back out to the mile. We know what she can do over the mile. She might present a wee bit of value at about $14.
Okay. You see some movement around Bonaforza. There was some movement around Bonaforza last time out when she resumed at Trentham. Steve, what do you make of the 10th on resumption?
Just forget she went round. The jockey tried to push forward over 1,200 metres. Come the last race, it was quite obvious you had to be on speed and close to the rail. The jockey couldn't find the rail, obviously, so was caught 3-4 wide facing the breeze for a horse that was first up. Hadn't been seen since the 1,000 guineas. Over a distance that's probably short of her best. She's probably a horse that wants 1,600 metres. She gets that on the weekend. Gee, go back, and BP touched on her 1,000 guineas performance running 4th. Look at the horses that better that day. Well Written, Lollapalooza and Belle Cheval. Look, there's been a bit of speaking or chit-chat about the Southerners this year, the 3-year-olds, the boys and the girls, how impressive they've been. I reckon they've just been an average lot. I don't think there's been a clear standout. There's been a lot of compressed bunch finishes, nothing that's really smashed the clock. So, look, I'm not frightened one of these Northerners on the back of what we saw at Trentham, a total forgive run, to come down there and be far too good. I thought she deserves to be right up there in the market. I'm surprised she's at $9. I thought she would be clear second favour in this race. Whether she challenges favouritism, I'm not too sure. Paolino's has been well tracked in terms of money thus far. But yeah, I'm very keen on Bonaforza.
Should have had in the years.
Yeah, look, it was
think
always.
about it?
Yeah, I did, but I just wanted to focus on Ōtaki as a year now in terms of the meeting. But look, if I was touching on Riccarton, that was a possibility, yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, yeah, that's where your focus will be tomorrow afternoon, obviously. BP, will come back to you. Final thoughts here and the 3-year-old feature?
Well, I did like Hello Haley last week, and I think it's a clear forgive, back up to 1,600 metres. I can see why you'd be keen on probably having a little spec on that at the $13 or $14. There's two horses that I've marked down in the race. Miss Starlight, because of how well the horse went last time out over the short trip and making ground, as we mentioned, on a day we needed to be on speed. And the other one is actually Bonaforza, just, you know, lining up a fourth in a Group 1, 1,000 guineas into this race, second up. It has to be fairly decent form. So they were the three I was centred around if I was having a little split bet around a couple of runners.
Okay. Steve, you've probably nailed your colours to the wall here.
No, I have the Canberra Silks
Yeah,
on
the
Bonaforza.
Raiders,
So, yeah, look, I was really excited to see what she would produce at Trentham Resuming a couple of weeks ago. I was a little bit disappointed on how the track played. She was just a total forgive. So go back to the 1,000 guineas form. If she went close to that, she should be hard to beat.
Okay. Paul.
Gee, me and Steve are
Yeah,
on.
this is a worry.
This is dangerous, isn't it? As long as he's not wearing the Penrith Silks, we'll be fine.
You would though, Bonaforza?
Bonaforza.
Okay.
Yep.
Happy with the $9?
Oh, I am. As soon as we get off, I'm on.
Very good. Okay, going to be a very good edition of the NZB Insurance Stakes. Let's go to the TAB Southern Alps Challenge. Gee, the money's up here, $350,000, and gets a very good field, I thought.
Yeah, and a fairly static market thus far, Thaddeus. As you can see there, a lot of the horses, well, basically there has been little to no change. Headed by Sir Albert and Aladdin's Gem, $6 each of two. Stony Brick at $8.50, double figures around Wits End. Inflamed, who was an impressive last start winner in a similar field at $13. Cluedo Lane looks to be a pace influencer at $13. Betty Spaghetti, Loose Sally, always track money. Yeah, deep field. Take your price and good luck.
Okay, let's go to Ashburton BP to kick it off. Tauahaka takes out this race at its last start. Our Echo was there. And look, Sir Albert didn't fire, finishing 11th. Talk to us about this race.
Tauahaka, yeah, loves to get up on speed, and this was a PB performance from the horse on this occasion at start number 32 for trainer David Walsh. So on the back up from this effort last week, and was it last Thursday, wasn't it? And there's no reason off the back of this that maybe he's in the right sort of form, beating some key rivals out of the race. At a price, if you look, it looks to be an each-way race. It looks to be one where you can find one on the each way, and look, he's probably off that last win, one of those horses. But yeah, a couple of other nice runs in behind. I always respect our Echo. It's a horse that has got me a few times, and I'm sure there's a few that are probably in credit with the way our Echo has been able to win over the years at some decent prices. But good win good win from Tauahaka. As I said, we'll be able to sit up on speed, and you'd imagine there'd be positivity from Amber Riddell team from out wide, because that's where he seems to like to be, trying to sit somewhere up on speed.
Do you forgive Sir Albert BP? $6 favourite, I believe it's $6. Yes, joint favourite. Sir Albert, look, maybe a pipe opener for this.
Yeah, we know he's better than that. He is better than that. We'll get the services of Michael McNabb, and you've only got to go through the past performances to be able to find some cracking runs from the horse. So, yeah, if you've been with him before, you'd play the forgive card.
Yeah, it wouldn't be dropping off Sir Albert. We know the quality. What about the South Island Breeders' Stakes? Paul, we see Inflame. She's game. She's a game mare. Third Decree, Aladdin's Gem, Betty Spaghetti. I think Loose Sally was in this race as well. Doesn't even get an arrow after I put it in the foreplay and finished about 10th. So talk about the South Island Breeders' Stakes.
Well, let's start with Inflamed first of all, the race winner, and she was very, very good here. And she backed up six days earlier. She won at Wingatui. So obviously the Andertons have got her absolutely humming. I can see her in the market at around $13. She's got a slightly wider straw, but she does love Riccarton. So I'm really happy with the way that she was going there. If we look just in behind, Third Decree was running on as well, and Aladdin's Gem, who I see is the second favourite, or equal first favourite at $6 right now. But in terms of Inflamed, I think, as Steve said, this was a day where you wanted to be up on the speed, and that's exactly where she was. So, yeah, I don't mind the $13 on her at the moment.
Okay, yeah, no, $13 is a nice price around Inflame, but we'll say that. What about Wits End, Steve? Because, she's now with Terry Ray. He is now with Terry Ray, and this was a good one last time out and beat Toahaka we looked at earlier.
Yeah, look, since arriving down south, he's had the 6 starts for 3 wins, so he's found his happy hunting ground. Look, it was a really good ride this day from Tristan Moodley. Was able to sit the horse on speed, second outer, and control the tempo. They didn't go hard to the 600, so it was a race that really did favour on-pace horses. So there was a little bit of a flashing light on the runner-up, but back on Wits End, probably the one knock is the 1,600 metres, and that's a bigger knock, the fact that he's drawn wide on the weekend. A lot of his wins have been over 1,100 metres. He's yet to tick that mile when it comes to the winner's circle. So it's just a matter of how much petrol gas he has to use to get the horse into the first 4 or 5 with a little bit of cover, because he will be vulnerable in that last furlong over the mile. So look, he's got the ability, and obviously he's a horse in form, and you've got to respect the stable, but just a slight knock in terms of the map and the mile.
Okay. BP will come back to you. Great addition of the race. I love it. Got a very good field. Maybe it sets up for a same race multi, but what do we do here? Help.
I actually really like the Southern Mile form out of Wingatui. That was the race that we saw Aladdin's Gem win, and win impressively from back in the field, and was so good from Tina.com that she received the Lance O'Sullivan Award. And I did love the run of the second horse in that race, and Our Approval. So I've actually got an Our Approval on the each way, sits around $13, $14. Courtney Barnes takes the ride, and pretty keen to stick pretty close to Aladdin's Gem as well, if you're looking for multiple plays, like a same race multi. So yeah, Our Approval on the each way.
Yeah, okay, $13, like the price. Aladdin's Gem, Steve, was fractionally unlucky last time out, I thought. They were sort of getting laid on there in the last bit.
Yeah, it was. And as Paul mentioned, it was a track that played on speedish, you could say, which gave Inflame every opportunity. But it does meet Inflame better off at the weights. It's got a soft draw. I think crucial, Tina jumps back on. Didn't opt for the ride I'm not sure the circumstances when it came to its last start at Riccarton, but jumps back aboard here, which is a positive, because she'd been on the horse for its couple of wins leading into its last start. So they obviously blend well, Tina and Aladdin's Gem. So keen Aladdin's Gem, proven at the mile, soft draw. Yep, there's a lot to like.
Okay, Paul, final thoughts?
I'm going to go Wits End. Look, I know he does have the wide draw here. I think the rail back in the true position really will sort of negate that to a certain extent. And as Steve said, if he can get across and sit fairly handy to the leaders, I think he's ready to step up to the mile. He's had a few goes now. I think we'll see him unwind nicely. So Wits End at around $10.
Okay, an excellent addition, the TAB Southern Alps Challenge, and the boys spread far and wide in this one. Time for BP's extra race. He's taken us to a maiden. You might run us through race number 1 on the card, Steve. It is the Windsor Park Stud Luncheon in Yearling, 23rd of April. Race 1 on the card, the Maiden. Talk to us about this field.
Tunavale, $3.80.
Tunavale, yeah.
If you start me up at $4.50, Dakota, former Northerner, $7. I don't know, is it a former Northerner? I'm not 100% sure. BP will elude us on that. Definitely Russian Blues is a former Northerner at 7.5, but Dakota and Russian Blues come into this on the back of some nice trials. A market yet to take shape. A lot of these prices are the original quotes, but Tunavale at $3.80.
Okay, talk to us about this, BP. We're going to have a look at Dakota at the trials. It's had a couple of those, or had a fair few of them. Dakota first, but tell us why you picked this race as well.
I just felt like there was a chance to dive into a race where there's been a couple of nice trialists. Always nice to try and find a maiden race where there might be a little bit of depth through it, and also probably the little bit of uncertainty around Te Rapa on Sunday too. So hence why we haven't gone there. This is a good trial in the Albie McGregor colours. Dean McGregor out of Rangiora, and Ashke's very quiet on the horse. And just let Dakota roll to the line, Ashke, and that was over the 800 metres. We'll see a 1,200 metre performance from the horse for the daughter of Super Seth. Has had 2 runs to the races, both of them in the south, but yeah, just happy to have a little nibble away at that Dakota trial form there and take some of the $7.50, I think it was, that the team posted up there.
Yeah, no, it's $7.50 into $7 around Dakota. What about this trial? Is it Tunival? How do we say that one, BP? And Russian Blues finished the second. This is the trial at Riccarton.
Yeah, Tunival was a runner that had one start in Australia out of Pakenham for the Team Tiako and is in the southern barn now and is well held down the straight to finish into fourth position. Michael McNabb takes the ride and Russian Blues here was able to sit outside leader. Kendra Bakar will take the ride on the weekend and claim a couple of kilos and went to the line with a fair bit of horse. Tunival actually really was just there to have a bit of a look around, so I think the trial's probably better than what you're seeing there in terms of margins and lengths off the winner. So I respect both of them, I do. So yeah, I think there might be enough around the first of the day to have a little bit of a play around Dakota and see if you like those others in behind for a little SRM.
I like this. I like what BP's done here. He's given us a little bit of something to have a punt on.
Just look at the pedigree around Tunival. A half to extravagant, and he's remarkable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Who's the sire?
Too darn hot.
All right.
He's kicking plenty of goals, not just here, but in Europe as well. So it's got the pedigree on its side. So yeah, if it can half run up to that, it'd be a big chance.
BP's given us an extra tip here, to be fair, hasn't he? Dakota, each way. Did you have a bet in the race, boys? Steve?
Look, BP can give me a tip later. I haven't dived into race one at Riccarton, to be fair, but just go with BP.
Paulie?
Student of War has had plenty of opportunities. So I think now's the time to jump on.
Now's the time.
Now.
Okay.
Watch it.
You play the forgive card.
Yeah, big time.
Let's talk about the boost. Thank you, BP. Dakota looks to be the bet there in race one at Riccarton to kickstart your day. Let's talk the leg up boost, and we're going to the NZB Stakes. We're going to go with the Tiaki, our favourite, in Perlino, currently trading at $3.20. $4 on offer on the leg up boost. You'll find it under the futures tab and go to the leg up boost. Max bet $100 around the leg up boost for Perlino in the NZB Insurance Stakes.
Where's Kitty Flash, team? What happened to that?
I couldn't make the late change. Yeah, I'm not fluid on my feet, BP. You know, very. It's like turning the Titanic. So yeah, unfortunately. Couldn't pivot, as they say. It's a bit of corporate speak to get on Kitty Flash. So we're sticking with Perlino as the leg up boost this week. Foreplay time for another week. Your chance to win $100 4-leg bonus cash multi with our 4 good things of the weekend. We've pushed the boat out this week, I can tell you. And the man that's pushed it out furthest is Brendan Popplewell. What do you got, BP?
I'm going to the Hawke's Bay Cup. I'm going with Crouch, and the track conditions should be suitable for the horse. A couple of really great runs. Obviously, the obvious one is the effort in the Wellington Cup 2 starts ago, but real eye-catcher last start. And I know Mike Breslin and the team have got their sights set on Australia for Crouch as well. So, top 4. $3. Quite surprising you're getting such a price, but I mean, if the horse is going to be around $14, $15, I guess that's why you are. So I'll go with Crouch, team, as my foreplay option this week.
Paulie?
I'm going to head to Riccarton, race 3. It's for the juveniles over 1,000 metres, and look, bookies are struggling to make their minds up in terms of favourites here, but I do like the look of the Mark Walker Sam Burgesson trained Enchantment. A nice second on the track last time out. We're going for a top 3 at around $1.40.
Race 1, Ōtaki, Shadow Ruler, over the 1,400 metres. First up a few weeks ago, Harwater over the 1,200. Got back in a race that was just run at sedate tempo. Last 6.42 was the quickest, not just in the race, but on the day. Wide draw, so there's your insurance top $4.75.
Okay, I've gone Riccarton race 5. I'm with the game mare Oaks Deal, trained by Sam Winnets. The rating 65 mile, and I'm trying to line up that Perlino form. I finished second to Perlino last time out, so I thought that form looked good. Draws well in barrier 4. Mariana Hudson is on board, as she was last time when they chased Perlino home, only just a tick over a length away. Top 4 at $2.70. So we've gone big this week. That bonus cash multi could return you $1,884.50. Go to the TAB Facebook page. We're looking for your favourite Hawke's Bay Cup winner. Only allowed one entry, BP. You're only allowed one entry. Who would it be?
Wow, how many pillage and plunders are you going to get? You're going to get plenty. You're going to get heaps. We'll give you my favourite, Torbo. I tipped it to my principal when I was at Parkvale Primary School. We were leaving Friday. Every Friday, I used to drop the principal a note for what I liked on the weekend, and I said to him, I really like Torbo because Torbo comes out of course, running a placing in the Wellington Cup behind Castletown. Grant Lawson, David Walsh.
Grant Lawson.
Let's go with that runner there in Torbo, and yeah, it was able to deliver. It was one of my faves.
Yeah, that was a banger. Regular viewers of the league, that'll be the 5th time they've heard that story about Torbo.
I must give the principal a winning tip.
Yeah, it's not an apple.
Give
him a winning tip. No, there's plenty there. Trying to think of some. Pillage and Plunder was the obvious, but yeah. Survive, Big Mike's another favourite of the show. So head to the TAB Facebook page if you want to be in a chance to win that $1,884.50 with this week's Leg Up Foreplay. Okay, best bet time for another week. And look, we're all about accountability here. Let's look back before we look forward. I think Shambo Jack, the money's on early. It's going to be a winner. Race 1 from Ellerslie.
Amaret's going to win the first. Second at the line will be Gross's Girl. Then there's a close photo for third between the late finishing Fiamma and with it also Miss Perner, and right there Shambo Jack.
The Riverton Race 5. It's an open handicap over the 1,200 metres. I'm going to go with Martel.
Express Cope from Rochello. Express Cope with the head in front. Express Cope and Rochello. Express Cope. Express Cope has won, has beaten Rochello, then Motion Time, Miss Brittany, Industrialist, Martel and Miss Pearl.
I'll head to Ellerslie Race 4, the 3-year-old mile, number 7, Glance.
Great battle here as they go towards the line. Defying them into the run to the line was La Diem. La Diem from Navy Ensign in a photo with Celtic Tycoon. Right there we had Glance and Autumn Queen.
You could see Glance, who had plenty of horse and was weaving and bobbing and trying to find that right path through horses, will finish into 4th position.
Whoa, okay. Shambo Jack, Jack in it for a long way. Right there, I think, was the call. Right there, just not winning.
Fell into third.
Yeah, it did fall in. I was lucky to get third with Shambo Jack, and Glance will keep, Steve.
She'll keep. She'll keep.
Okay.
And we won't even talk about Martin.
Move on.
No, righty, moving on.
What was BP's best?
Yeah, what was BP's? What was your...
Yeah, mine's went missing off the list
Still
there,
running.
but Small Fort. I liked 2 Shane Crawford
right.
first starters. The first one wins, and Small Fort. I'll tell you what, stick with it though. It got shunted out of it after about 3 strides, and it is an absolute forgive. Small Fort. So
BP got it dragged from the best bet recap. That's clever from you, BP. I didn't know we could do that. I'd be doing that every week. Let's talk about this week. What's your best bet?
Let's go. I'm going to go with Kitty Flash as my best. Just like what we've spoken about around the race when we previewed her. This was her when winning first up last campaign out of Tauranga, and she obviously went on a really good tear following that with good placings and a J-swap placing behind horses that competed at Group 1 level. So happy to go with Kitty Flash in the City of Napier Sprint.
I'll go to Ōtaki Race 3, the reigning 65-2-1, number 8, Kingsbrook Diva for Alan Sharrock and Sam McNabb. Look, she's taking on the older horses on the back of winning impressively last start over the 1,600 metres. But I love the upside. I think a lot of the opposition have found their level/ceiling. And her last 200 rated 2 lengths above standards suggests the step up in ground should suit. So Kingsbrook Diva, my best for the weekend.
I'm going to head to Riccarton Race 2. It's a 65 over the 1,200 metres. And I've gone with Leinster. Look, Leinster at last start was over 1,200 metres at Riccarton, and all but one at any old odds. I can tell you why, because I was on the nose, unfortunately. So I'm willing to stick as long as the track improves slightly. I think Leinster will be right back in it. Hayley Hassman gets a couple of kilos off.
You're cutting into me. You're cutting into the best bet, man. This is what the people have been waiting for. Don't worry about Leinster. Let's talk about Boss and High Heels. Riccarton race number 4 on the card. Third up down south for Terry Ray. Michael McNabb gets aboard. And I say the win at Winger 2, tough. And I think she's capable. Drawn barrier, I like the addition of Michael McNabb, so I thought Boss and High Heels was my best of the weekend. Currently around $9. What's Leinster paying, Paul?
Around, what is it, 10, 13?
Oh, okay.
Oh, now into $9.50.
Oh, they backed it. That'd be your money
It
again.
opened at 9. Where's the 13 come from?
He's right.
Add the GST.
Okay. Well, Boss and High Heels for what it's worth, my bet of the weekend. Paulie.
Yeah.
Stock promos, what do I got this weekend?
Oh, gee, do we have any? Yes, we do. We've got a bonus cashback promotion on selected races at both Riccarton and Randwick. If your horse finishes second or third, you'll get your money back up to $50 in bonus cash. And of course, there's an odd surge on every single race at Ōtaki this Saturday. Maximum bet $100.
Okay, Ōtaki for the odd surge. I want to talk some NRL before I get out of here, BP, because I need a same game multi for the Warriors game. Are we keeping the faith, or is Paul Maoate completely submarined this season?
Well, we all know the stats, and Justin has constantly reminded us around those stats. Of course, Justin Evans, the biggest Melbourne Storm fan you will ever find. Look, if there's two things I want this season out of the Warriors is to win a premiership. The other one is to beat the Melbourne Storm. Like, they're the only two things I want this year. And if it's just to beat the Melbourne Storm, I'd be pretty happy as well. They come off the back of a loss last week where really they shouldn't have lost. I thought defensively there was a couple of little issues there, but they were able to score points. But I really felt that Sharks game was there for the taking, and they didn't quite turn up, did they? If you are looking for a try scorer, I will give you a Melbourne Storm try scorer in Joe Chan at $3.15. If you're looking at the edges of the Warriors is where we've had some issues. I'm pretty sure he's on the right edge, isn't he, Joe Chan? So maybe he's a player to look at there to score a try for the Storm at $3.15. A soon-to-be Warrior in Will Warbrick will be very popular. And for the Warriors, maybe a little bit of Jacob Laban at $6 is maybe where I could be heading as well, trying to find something a little bit larger in amongst it all. But to be honest with you, if none of those come in and just the Warriors win, I'd be very happy.
Yeah. The 3 from 4 boost, Paul's been popular as well. Was there one this weekend?
It has been very, very popular. We've had 6 so far this season over the 5 rounds, because the first round was split between Vegas and Australia. All 6 of them have struck. Okay. All 6 have struck. So this week, the 3 from 4 boost in the NRL, you need any 3 of Tommy Turbo, Murray Taulangi, Latrell Mitchell, or Mark Nawakani-Tawasi, any 3 of those 4 to score a try, and you'll get to collect the 3 from 4 boost. That would be $2.20. It's been boosted out to $3. Okay,
let's say goodbye to BP. You won't be working tomorrow, BP. You've got a hurricane bearing down on you for Sunday potentially, so stay safe up there, my man.
Yeah, no, it's pretty scary with the reports, isn't it? So, we'll find out a little bit more around Te Rapa with what happens if that meeting goes ahead and what happens with the cyclone. Stay safe out, everyone out there, and enjoy the sport and racing over the weekend.
Yeah, massive weekend of racing, but also a massive weekend of sport. Thank you, Paul, for your efforts as always. What are your movements?
Well, with the weather approaching, I'll stay inside and watch the Masters.
Yeah, that's a tough decision. You're going to have to twist your arm to do that. Thank you, Steve. You'll be Ōtaki tomorrow?
Yeah, Ōtaki, a couple of feature races over that race card. And just hopefully, fingers crossed, that track comes back to a close.
Don't forget, Night of Champions tonight.
I think Leap to Fame will do the business at Cambridge tonight?
Okay.
Don't know that you've heard of him.
I do respect Leap to Fame. I know the horse. Okay. He's a champion. Yeah. He's a champion.
Very good.
Go, Larry.
Enjoy your weekend, boys. You enjoy your weekend out there in TV land. This has been The Leg Up. We'll see you in 7 days' time.